ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद् श्रील राधा गोविंद दास गोस्वामी नामिने। नमस्ते गुरुदेवाय गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी ग्राम्य जननी स्थारिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनेति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण। His Holiness Srila Rādhā Govinda Maharaj ki, Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki, Srila Lokanath Swami Maharaj ki, all the wonderful glorious disciples of Prabhupada ki jai. As we see that today is a very auspicious day, of course, as far as Tithi is concerned, I believe all the appearances already happened earlier, but of course because of convenience we are just trying to club these three very wonderful glorious disciples of Prabhupada. In fact, in my humble opinion, I think all the devotees will definitely agree to this. Every disciple of Prabhupada has embodied one quality of Prabhupada. Prabhupada is like a rainbow having different beautiful colors, color-like qualities. And these different disciples of Prabhupada have taken one different quality of Prabhupada and just exemplified that in their whole life. Like for example, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, of all the months, Masanam, I am Margashish. Of the poetry, I am Gayatri. Of the Vedas, I am Samaveda. And Krishna gives a big list. Of the seasons, I am this. Of this, I am that. And in my humble opinion, I think if the same thing, if Krishna has to say that in connection with ISKCON, it will be something like this. Of all the Kirtaniyas in our movement, I am Sripada Indra Prabhu. Of all the devotees who are expert in building temples, I am Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Of all the devotees who are expert in taking Dham Parikrama, I am Srila Lokanath Maharaj. Of all the devotees who are expert in Vaishnav Seva, I am Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj. And of all the devotees, those who are expert, or he who is expert in eloquently presenting Srimad Bhagavatam, by beautifully decorating that with the commentaries of predecessor acharyas, in my humble opinion, I think it is Srila Rādhā Govinda Maharaj. And of course, this list goes on. Every disciple, as we mentioned, we can take one wonderful quality and just increase this list on and on. In 2016, I was in Vrindavan and I was in Radhakund. And when I was in Radhakund, I was doing Radhakund Parikrama. And I happened to be in the Sangam of Radhakund and Shamkund. And at that time, I met one Prabhupada disciple by the name His Holiness Mahanidhi Maharaj, who has been living there for almost more than 4 decades or 5 decades. And in the course of the discussion, Mahanidhi Maharaj said something that just struck in my head. His Holiness Mahanidhi Maharaj said that way back in the 80s, after Prabhupada's demise, in the Krishna Balram Mandir, there were many Prabhupada disciples who were living. Because you see, during those days, majority of the disciples were living in the temples. Unlike today, where majority are staying out from the temple because of being grahasthas. So he was saying that myself, that is Mahanidhi Maharaj, Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu. Now, Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu was the head cook of Krishna Balram Mandir for almost 30 years. He just departed 2 years back. He was a brahmachari, American-bodied, Prabhupada disciple, cooking 6 meals for Radha Shyam Sundar for 25 to 30 years, every single day, without taking a break. That was Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu. So, Mahanidhi Maharaj, Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu, and Srila Rādhā Govinda Maharaj were there in the same room for good 4 to 5 years. This was one room. And the adjacent room was Sripad Ayindra Prabhu. So you can imagine what kind of explosion it will be. You have Ayindra Prabhu for Kirtan. You have Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu for cooking. You have Mahanidhi Maharaj who is dipped in Braj. And you have Srila Rādhā Govinda Maharaj who is dipped in Bhagavat. Srimad Bhagavatam. Complete madness. Complete spiritual explosion. And he said, because I am getting old, memory is very volatile. I have forgotten many things. But he said, the strongest memory I have of Srila Rādhā Govinda Maharaj is he would sit in front of the Bhagavatam and for no less than 16 hours a day he would sit and read and cry and cry and cry. He would say people would come, people would go, we would take rest, we would do so many different activities. But he would be glued to the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he said so many times we would see, he would read the commentaries and his tears would be flowing from his eyes. So much taste. Even now, in fact, we see, even in his age of 73, having paralysis, at 1:30, 1:45, 2 o'clock at night, we will get messages in our Srila Guru Maharaj's group. And he will be reading commentaries of Sridhar Swami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, night 1:45. When the whole world is sleeping, as Krishna says, when the whole world is sleeping, devotees are awake. And this is Sakshat Praman. With commentaries kept, he will be reading. With so much bodily ailments. And I remember that recently His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj, whose Vyasa Puja also we are celebrating. Lokanath Swami Maharaj, when he was in Vrindavan, he went to meet Srila Guru Maharaj. And of course the conversation was in Hindi, so I will translate for those who cannot understand. His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj went to Srila Guru Maharaj and they were speaking. And at one point Srila Lokanath Maharaj, he tells Srila Guru Maharaj, Maharaj ji, भागवत के असली मर्मज्ञ तो आप हो. So in Hindi, मर्मज्ञ means someone who knows the deepest conclusions, deepest secrets. जो गूढ़ रहस्य को जाने उसे मर्मज्ञ कहते हैं हिंदी में. So लोकनाथ महाराज told Guru Maharaj, ISKCON में भागवत के असली मर्मज्ञ तो आप हो. And when Srila Guru Maharaj heard this, Srila Guru Maharaj said, कहाँ के मर्मज्ञ? हमें तो कुछ नहीं पता, कहाँ के मर्मज्ञ? So in reply to that, लोकनाथ महाराज says, हाँ महाराज जी, हमें पता है आप कितने बड़े मर्मज्ञ हो. आज भी हम आपकी कथा सुनते और प्रेरणा लेते हैं. लोकनाथ महाराज tells Srila Guru Maharaj. That recording is there. So he told Srila Guru Maharaj, भागवत के असली मर्मज्ञ तो आप ही हो. भागवत आपसे बेहतर शायद ही कोई जानता है. And this is not just a sectarian point that a disciple is making, but we find so many God brothers of Prabhupada also completely accept this fact. Srila Radhanath Maharaj had asked Gauranga Prabhu and Radheshyam Prabhu to go to Srila Guru Maharaj's Khadiya Katha. In Bihar, there is a place called as Khadiya. And Srila Guru Maharaj would give classes there, 98, 99, 2000, for hours together. Morning 3 hours, evening 3 hours. And Srila Radhanath Maharaj had told Gauranga Prabhu and Radheshyam Prabhu, go, hear, and then come back and translate to me what Rādhā Govinda Maharaj is saying. And the best example to substantiate this point is we find 2 years back, Radheshyam Prabhu, as an offering to Srila Guru Maharaj, he got together all the lectures of Rādhā Govinda Maharaj that he has given in the last 30 years. He got together all the lectures and compiled them canto-wise. This was his offering to Rādhā Govinda Maharaj. The whole of NVCC team, headed by Radheshyam Prabhu, spearheaded by Radheshyam Prabhu, from Canto 1 till Canto 12, all the lectures, theme-wise, chapter-wise, verses, Radheshyam Prabhu got together. So Radheshyam Prabhu, there he was explaining that so many points that we make in our classes, it comes straight from what Srila Rādhā Govinda Maharaj has spoken. We just do Control-C, Control-V. We just translate it, but the origin is there. And likewise, we see Gauranga Prabhu also so many times in so many classes, he mentions that he has heard from Srila Rādhā Govinda Maharaj. In fact, Gauranga Prabhu and his team have translated many classes of Rādhā Govinda Maharaj into English. Because predominantly Rādhā Govinda Maharaj always speaks in Hindi. But Gauranga Prabhu's team have translated that to English in so many classes. Govardhan Leela, Dam Bandhan Leela, Krishna eating dirt, Krishna's appearance, Nanda Maharaj going to Mathura, Krishna going to Mathura, Akrura coming. Gauranga Prabhu's team has translated word by word, alphabet by alphabet, verse by verse, with all references. So it's a Sakshat Praman that not just Lokanath Swami Maharaj, not just Mahanidhi Maharaj, not just Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj, but the list goes on. So many disciples of Prabhupada, in their heart, they are convinced and they give all due respects to Srila Rādhā Govinda Maharaj for this one anga of studying Srimad Bhagavatam and inspiring others in hearing and chanting the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I just hope and pray, not taking much time, I just hope and pray that being a disciple, at least I call myself a disciple, at least in his eyes, I hope and pray that someday Srila Guru Maharaj blesses me. And not just Srila Guru Maharaj, all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees present here. By your blessings and by your prayers, I hope one day in some lifetime to imbibe this mood of Srila Guru Maharaj of going deeper into the study of Srimad Bhagavatam, decorated with a very wonderful commentaries. Srila Rādhā Govinda Dāsa Goswami Maharaj ki, Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki, Srila Lokanath Swami Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana ki jai. Hare Krishna.